Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church in Springfield. For over 200 years, we have been preaching love and the free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Here we don't expect to think alike, but to love alike. We invite you to join us in seeking truth and sharing love with our neighbors. My name is Bill Brink, and I'm one of the trustees. If you're a guest with us today, we invite you to simply enjoy being with us. You are welcome to join us after the service for refreshments and conversation.
This is a reading from one of my favorite authors, Deng Dao, from his book 365 Dao Daily Meditations. And this reading is called Balance. Summer withered grass to flaxen yellow, scorched leaves to brittle paper, dried lakes to cracked clay. Chill autumn brought little relief, only frosted the devastation. But with the early gentle rains, the earth's fissures softened and desiccated plants began to dissolve. Slowly, balance comes once again. Many cultures describe old people as having seen many winters. Those elders have seen many cycles come and go, and their wisdom comes from long observation of life's rising and falling. If we have a long-range view, then we realize that equilibrium comes in the course of nature's progression. Nature does not achieve balance by keeping to one level. Rather, elements and seasons alternate with one another in succession. Balance, as defined by Tao, is not stasis, but a dynamic process of many overlapping alternations. Even if some phases seem wildly excessive, they are balanced by others. Everything has its place. Everything has its season. As events turn, balance is to know what is here, what is coming, and how to be in perfect harmony with it. And then one attains a state of sublimity that cannot be challenged. How's everyone's summer so far? Good, yeah, good.
Busy.
Busy,
Yeah. But in a good way.
good busy.
Yeah.
That's about. It's a little, it's been hot.
Dry and warm.
It's been dry for sure. I don't know who's, I hope that's not my phone. Yeah, because of the temperature or the, like what's coming or.
Temperature.
A lot of people say that here in this area, right? Well, so it's still August, so a little bit. We don't, yeah, like we have time. And that balance reading, it's a little early to be talking about the equinox, but it's coming, so we want to prepare for it. And you know, what I want to talk about today is how not to fall. So it's a little play on words. So not fall yet, but also physically how to stay up on our feet, how to stay upright, and heading toward the time of equal coincides with that, right? We're going to talk about today. And all of this has to do with the fact that equinox is coming, fall, the season that we call fall is coming, and Fall Prevention Awareness Week is in September, and Fall Prevention Awareness Day, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. Not that we're preventing the season of fall, because we can't, because nature just does its thing. And what I want to kind of leave you with is that the principles of staying upright on our feet physically are also the same things that keep us upright in our lives too. Like they're really very simple, straightforward principles that make a lot of sense. So I hope you all get that from what I have to share with you today. All right. I think we have a hymn. I'm gonna there's a very distracting thing going on my laptop here in preparation for what's to come. So let me just do this. Okay, get out of your way.
And there's no hymn number in your program. That's because it's not in your hymnal. And Tina and Lynn and Matt and I are going to sing it. If you happen to know this song, and when I rise, feel free to join in.
I'll just play the changes through once.
Okay.
That was lovely. Thank you all. This is a poem, actually. It's not a story, but there's a story in it. And it's called The Short Story of Falling, from the collection called Falling Awake by Alice Oswald. So this is a short story of falling. It is the story of the falling rain to turn into a leaf and fall again. It is the secret of a summer shower to steal the light and hide it in a flower. And every flower a tiny tributary that from the ground flows green and momentary, is one of water's wishes, and this tale hangs in a seed head smaller than my thumbnail. If only I, a passerby, could pass as clear as water through a plume of grass, to find the sunlight hidden at the tip, turning to seed in a kind of lifting rain drip, then I might know, like water, how to balance the weight of hope against the light of patience. Water which is so raw, so earthy strong, and lurks in cast iron tanks and leaks along, drawn under gravity towards my tongue, to cool and fill the pipe work of this song, which is the story of the falling rain that rises to the light and falls again. I kind of like that, that cycle. I'm always here talking about cycles, and I think it's pretty cool. They're everywhere, right? When you know where they are. All right, we're going right into a meditation, I guess. I can never remember the order of things that I set up. I wanted to do a little bit of breathing where you could allow the sense of falling. That there's something very freeing with falling. It's not always a good thing when we're physically falling, but it's nice to kind of feel that release and lack of suspension that happens. And it can happen easily through breath. So wherever you are, find your seat, maybe wiggle in a little bit more. If your 2 feet are down on the earth, that's useful. Notice the weight of your pelvis and your hips and your seat. And you can have your back up against the back of the chair if that feels good to you. So notice all the places where your body is touching these surfaces of support. And without changing anything at all, notice the breath that got you here today. So just take an inward gaze and see how your breath is moving through your body. No judgment, no changing, no desire or need to be anything else than what it is. And to prepare us for a little bit of exploration with the exhale, see if you can really feel your inhales and maybe give a little bit of extra length to the exhales if that's in you today. We're looking to have kind of a nice range on the exhale so that you have some real estate to work with as we get going. All right. When you're ready, what we're going to do on the next exhale that we talk about is break it into 2 parts. So find your inhale. And on your next exhale, exhale halfway. Just pause for a moment right there. And when you're ready, exhale the rest of the way. And then allow your natural breath to come back. So when we do this one more time, splitting it in 2, let yourself kind of linger in that pool of the pause after the first exhale. And maybe you can imagine as a waterfall cascades down, it gathers in a little pool for a moment before it makes another cascade down. So find an inhale when you're ready. Exhale halfway and pause and kind of swim in that little pool of pause. And then exhale the rest of the way. And see if you can take a moment to pause and swim in that little pool after that full exhale. And then invite your natural breath back. And stay with that natural breath. It's like home base. You can stay with that 2-part exhale, but I'm just going to give you one more option to go for a 3-part exhale. Each of these lengthening our exhale a little bit more, getting a little more relaxed, and enjoying that environment or that imagery of being in a waterfall. So as you're ready, go ahead and inhale. This time, exhale 1/3 of the way. Pause here. Exhale another 1/3 and pause. And then last exhale, really clear it out. Imagine the waterfall at the very bottom. And as you're ready, that natural breath just returns. And we'll do one more. Maybe you're imagining all the things that the waterfall provides, the little cooling mist on your body, and that really wonderful release of water on that exhale. So one last time, go ahead, inhale. Exhale a third and pause. Exhale a third and pause. And fully exhale all the way at the bottom of the waterfall. And your natural breath comes on back. Take a moment or two here to notice how your natural breath maybe changed a little bit as a result of that practice. And notice too anything that might have changed for you physically. Maybe you feeling even heavier in the chair, a little more settled. Calmer, yeah, you might actually feel something in your heart or in your emotions that have changed. Yeah. If your eyes close, take the time to raise the shades of your eyelids and take your space in. Can swivel your head around, noticing your friends nearby. And maybe stretch whatever feels right. Might feel good to stretch.
I had such a clear image of Buttermilk Falls in Ludlow. My favorite swimming.
Me
hole.
too.
So that really helped that physical, like to be able to almost be in that physical space.
Yeah, when you do that practice, so it's a great practice to bring with you, little mini vacation during the day, and it's really useful to have a very specific place in mind. So thanks for sharing that, Matt.
Sure. Now it's time for our affirmation. Please join with me to repeat that. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve the needs of all beings, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with the source of our being. And now please share as you are able with funds and goods.
Let's see, there we go. Great. I really do love looking at these fall photos, but I'm just not ready yet. Just not ready yet. They're so beautiful though. And we're so lucky to live where we do. How not to fall. So let's see if I can get this moving. There we go. So in the fall, in the autumn, we talk about fall prevention. Those of us in the health and fitness and wellness community, we talk a lot about fall prevention. But why would you want to prevent fall? Right, little joke. So yeah, we're going to welcome this kind of thing, this beautiful season with our leaves changing. Although I don't know what we're going to get for leaves this year with our dry weather and our kind of up and down and unpredictable summer, because what happens in the spring and summer is what we get in the fall when it comes to leaves around here. So we'll have to see. I'm sure it will be beautiful nonetheless. So we don't want to prevent that, but we do want to prevent folks falling down, physically falling down. Every 11 seconds, an older adult is seen in an emergency department for a fall-related injury, which that's a lot. And my understanding is it's even higher in Vermont, and I think that is because of our weather. But yeah, so we want to prevent injuries as a result of falls. It's going to happen no matter what, but we want to prevent severe injury that might mean hospitalization or anything worse. And the reason we talk about it this time of year is for Fall Prevention Awareness Week, which is September 22nd through the 26th this year. It's always the third week in September. And it's right around that time of equinox and balance, which is kind of smart and cool on their part. The National Council on Aging is the one that started this this week every year in the fall. And there are many, many organizations that support what the National Council on Aging does around this. And I found, as I went through their information about what the useful things are to prevent falls, that it all sounded like something really similar and useful information that we can take with us when we feel like we might be falling in life. We might be failing at something, we might be struggling. I know a lot of us are struggling right now with things that are going on in our country. And I thought, wow, these are really good tips in general for keeping us strong and stable during those times. So the first thing is to talk to an expert, talk to somebody on your healthcare team, and get an assessment for why you might be a little unstable or falling. It could be due to medications. It could be due to something you have going on internally. You know, our balance and our equilibrium, our brains, our nervous system, they're complex creatures inside of us. So it's good to have somebody who has knowledge let you know what's going on. And I thought that seemed pretty smart, no matter what, that we check in with the experts before we decide what's wrong with us. I thought that sounded like a pretty smart thing to do before we listen to like rumors and some other things that might be going on. The next thing is to get your vision and hearing checked. Again, since all of our senses connect with our nervous system and our brain, they're all part of the story that happens when we move through the world, when we walk and when we do our daily activities. So those are the two main things where we take information in, and we want to make sure those are as healthy as possible. So I thought that made some good sense. And making sure that what you're seeing is accurate and what you're hearing is accurate, I thought, well, that makes sense right about now too. And whether it's an individual relationship or something that you're dealing with in a larger group, I thought, yeah, makes sense. Keeping your safe spaces safe, good lighting, grab bars, stairs especially can be a little challenging. And I think it's interesting that we talk about this in the fall too, because wet leaves can be almost as dangerous, or in some cases more dangerous than ice. So be careful for that. We haven't had the combination of a lot of rain yet, as there are leaves starting to fall. I know, I hate to say that, but we really haven't had that combination yet, but watch out for that this fall, because I find that seems to be a little challenging. And I think safe spaces where we can let our guards down and have good conversations, and hold this one for a second, be with the people that we care about and care about us, makes sense too, again, and not just physically staying healthy, but also emotionally as we move through the world, keeping us fit and well also. And get help. So if there's people in your life that can support you, friends and family, and I love this photo so much, lean on them. There are people that want to help you, and we get a lot from helping other people as well. And community like the church here is such a great example of that. So what might be a struggle for you might be really easy for somebody else, and we can all support each other in that way. Finally, find an exercise and balance program. I'm of course going to support that. Teaching Tai Chi here, I'll talk about that in a minute. That can be something like walking. It can be a group exercise program that you go to. It could be something like yoga, something aquatic program down at Edgar May. There are lots of places to do something like this. So find something that you enjoy and something that gets you moving. And I give you extra credit if it's a mindful exercise as well, because that helps your brain too. And all of those things too. I don't know if you've had this experience, you're in the middle of an argument or stressing about something, and when you get outside, especially, and go for a walk, somehow those things get put into perspective and you feel a little bit better. So moving your body is always a healthy option, no matter what you can do with your abilities. So that being said, I just wanted to remind you what we have for Fall Prevention Awareness Week coming up right here at the church. Our 8-week Tai Chi session that's free starts up September 9th. It's 10 o'clock on Tuesdays, and it's here, and it's also online. So if you can't make it to physically here, we can come to you, and we make recordings. So if the day and time don't work, you can watch the recording, whatever it works for you. You can also do the whole thing seated in a chair. You don't have to be able to stand up. And then on the 23rd, during Fall Prevention Awareness Week, we're going to invite other Springfield area Tai Chi teachers and students here, and we're going to have a little bit of a seasonal gathering and refreshments and that kind of thing, get to know each other. So that'll also be just part of the class that day. And I was able to throw this in kind of last minute. The library has offered just a one-off for right now, Thursday, September 11th, chair yoga class. It's a pay what you wish class, but the library is supporting it to be free for anybody who has a library card. You just have to enter a code when you go to register. So again, we'll do the whole class right in chairs. Library has that beautiful Flynn room. And if there's enough interest in that class, we'll make it a monthly offering. But it has been something that a lot of people have been asking for. So I'm kind of excited that we have that as well.
And that's you doing?
That's me. I'll be leading that. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that as well. I think, and it's a nice compliment with the Tai Chi as well. And even if you can stand on your head, which it's not something I do anymore, but focusing on a seated chair practice is really useful, because we spend a lot of time seated, right? And I think sometimes we think we have to like put our leg behind our head, and like, we don't need to do that. We really don't. And so much of us are used to sitting so long, and we're in these, forward positions. So it's useful to take the time to open up your upper body and to feel what it's like to feel balanced seated. because you can have balance while you're seated too. So that would be kind of fun. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing. I just wanted to do a really quick little exploration, and I didn't even get a chance to tell Sharon about this, of Tai Chi walking. This is something we do every once in a while in Tai Chi when we have time, but it actually forms the basis of a lot of what it means to stand up on your feet. And so I'm going to give you the option if you want to play around and explore a little bit. Anybody who wants to stand up can stand up. We have these spaces like along the sides of the space here, or you can simply stand right next to your chair. And we're going to play a little bit with walking. So you can even, if you're going to stay seated, you can find your 2 feet while you're seated. And you can kind of imagine this while you're seated and take this with you, take this home with you and practice this at home when it works for you, if you feel like doing it. Okay, I'm trying to stay close to this microphone. And Jean's gonna tell me if it gets really bad, I guess. All right, 2 feet on the floor and feel your 2 feet. This is the place we're gonna start from. So notice your 2 feet on the floor. There are lots of different ways we can do this. You have your heel, you have the ball of your foot, and maybe in your shoes, I know it's challenging in your shoes, feel your 5 toes, or however toes you have on each foot, not all of them. So feel that in your feet to start. All right, yeah, and like I'm noticing some of you, maybe you have to like shift a little bit. You gotta kind of like make that connect with this. So you take a moment to do that, okay. I am gonna say rights and lefts, but don't worry if the right left thing screws you up because we're gonna do both. Shift your weight onto your right foot and make like a little kickstand with your left foot. So like your left heel is lifted. We're just gonna prepare here. All the weight, almost all the weight in the right foot. Put the heel of your left foot down where the ball of your left foot just was. So it's like a tiny little, it's not even a step, right? Your heel's down. Weight is still back. Now start to roll your weight forward so that it's equal in both feet. And take a moment here, maybe look down, maybe that front foot is facing out a little bit. That's good. That's good. Don't change anything. This is your step. And that little angle means more surface area for you standing up. That's good too. All right, make a kickstand now. Pour all your weight into that left foot. Make a kickstand with the right foot. And when you're ready, put the right heel down. Weight still in the left. Roll your weight forward. Now the weight is equal on both feet. Take a peek down. Yep, I see my foot splaying out a little bit. That's great. All right, let's just walk in this way where you take a little kickstand, put the heel down, roll forward. And if you're seated, you could maybe just feel this on your feet. Take a moment, unweighted foot, roll forward. How's this feeling? Feels like walking? That's good. Does it feel like when you're when you're walking to get somewhere, walking really fast? Or does it feel like you're doing it walking in a different way?
More deliberate.
Yeah.
Definitely more deliberate, right? Would you walk down the grocery store aisle like this? The person behind you probably did.
I'm gonna try that as a social experiment.
Oh, gosh. Do not drop my name when you do that. So the point here, and I'm gonna walk back. You can do this walking backwards too, if you're comfortable. That's why I'm gonna have it. I said start near a chair because you can have your hands out on a chair. Do the same thing going back. The point here is that you are being deliberate. That was a good word. And you're noticing the shift of weight from one foot to the other. A lot of times when we're like racing somewhere to catch a bus or to get to an appointment or something, we don't notice this stuff. it's happening no matter what, or else you would fall. But there's some good, Tai Chi principles happening here about loading, loading the weight mindfully and rolling on, starting with the heel and rolling. There's a lot of things going on here. But when you have a chance at some point during your day to take 2 or 3 steps like this
In the grocery store.
with somebody behind you.
Or trying to catch a bus.
Yeah, you're probably not gonna make it. Yeah, so what happens if you do explore like this every once in a while is eventually these concepts start to bake in a little bit into the way you normally move through the world, and you will start to walk, maybe not this slowly, but in this sort of way. So play around with that when you're home. Yeah, and feel that weight shift.
It reminds me of singing.
How so?
When I first started to really get into singing, I mean, I've been singing all my life, but when I took lessons and I had to learn how to body in order to sing properly. It was like that. It was like this. It was like thinking, okay, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this and then that. And then eventually it became normal for me when I started to sing. It would all fall into place.
Right.
But it didn't start out that way.
Right. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. And I bet you can, the same thing like learning an instrument, maybe, right? Like learning scales, learning how to hold your hands a certain way.
Well, and then, so say you have a fast, complicated piece of music, you practice it very slowly
Yes.
and you increase speed slowly. You don't just
Right.
play it fast. So it's this gradual thing until it becomes more of a muscle memory.
Yeah.
Yes, the muscle memory
Muscle
thing,
memory.
yes.
Right, right.
Yeah, and I think that muscle memory is part of it too. If you've ever gone to like a yoga therapy session, or I think about this episode in Brady Bunch where Carol is learning how to hold a golf club, and it's like, drop your hip, lift your shoulder, do the, and like by the time she's ready, she's in this ridiculous position, right? But it's one little small change at a time that you end up working on.
Yeah.
And so I think cooking, I think any painting, it all stems from that same thing. But if you were to try to put all of it together at once and then move through the world that way, it'd be really annoying.
Yeah.
So, so practice that every once in a while. Kathy, right, at class this week was talking too about walking backwards and the benefits of walking backwards. Now, walking backwards, we usually need support when we do that because it's not something we normally do. Again, muscle memory is forward. Good brain work goes into walking backwards, and we really notice, our weight shifts and what's happening. So, take a couple steps forward, take a couple steps back, play along with that.
Mowing the lawn.
Yeah, actually, wow, you do it mowing the lawn, right?
Yeah.
It's a good time to, it'd be really good time to practice the Tai Chi walking. So, all right, that's your assignment. There you go.
Mow the lawn.
Thanks, Bill.
Mine needs mowing too, so.
That's perfect. And when the grass is tall, you have to go slow,
Right,
right?
right.
And sometimes it could be a challenge because you just want to get it done. So that's a good time to do it. Great.
I'm not just walking and shifting the weight and actually having one leg take all the weight, which I don't do when I'm walking. I just kind of roll. through my
Oh, shuffle
legs.
forward a little. Yeah, yeah.
And as a former long-time Tai Chi practitioner who's gotten away from it, we used to deliberately open the hips and shift. And like, wow, oh yeah, I remember doing this. I remember how to do this. Wow.
It's in there still,
I'm gonna
see?
keep practicing.
Yeah, it's still in there. That's very cool. Yeah, I love hearing the the little insights, and there are lots of them. And I think when we were probably learning how to walk as babies, we did all that stuff. I mean, we weren't thinking of it that way, but
Right.
we were playing around with weight shifting. I mean, we've seen plenty of babies keep going, because they haven't learned how to bring their weight back to center. Yeah. that's
I
kind of
saw
fun.
a baby take its first steps during a crawling competition
I saw that.
and totally cheated and just blew all the way.
I saw that. You can find that. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't even know where that happened.
It looked like it was in a mall or something. Like, I mean, who has, I guess we'll have competitions over anything as humans, but.
Right. Yeah, literally this baby was, she's probably halfway across and she stood up and everyone was like, oh, she's never stood up before. And then she walked the rest of the way. It's cool. Very cool. Thank you. Keep practicing.
Yeah.
Let me know how it goes.
So we'll let hymn number 205, Amazing Grace. It's written pretty straight, but we're gonna do it a little bit more gospel-y, because how can you not? So.
How can you not?
Yeah.
How can you do that straight? You just can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's great. So just a reminder of the tips we talked about, and maybe think about where else you can take them beyond your physical check in with somebody who has knowledge of whatever topic you're concerned about. Make sure all your senses are firing right. And I want to add that you listen to your internal sensing if something doesn't feel quite right. That's been working pretty well for me lately. I think that's something you can usually trust. Get help through friends, family, and community. And try an exercise or a balance program, something that feels good for you. something that works for your body. I didn't even ask. One of these.
Yeah. They were out.
Yeah, they were out. I wasn't sure. I didn't look. I forgot to look. I thought we would together look at the winds of summer, number 729 in the back. There's no page numbers here, but if you see ceremonial occasions, number
just
729.
numbers.
It's called the winds of summer. 729, yep. So I'll read the regular text and you can join me and we'll all together read the italic text. You and I and all of us blew about with the winds of summer, following the sun in different ways of freedom and play, finding rest in the cool stillness of shadows and moving to the slow heat struck with rhythms which turned the long hours of summer light. Now it is time for gathering in. We come together at this time and in this place on the bridge of autumn. Summer is fading backward into memory and winter waits in snowy brilliance. We meet with eagerness and delight, needing one another for sharing. We have joys and sorrows and hopes to share, questions, things we care about and want to help make better, things that we would like to understand, ideas waiting to be heard. Today, we are together in gladness, once more the special community that we call our church. A community of all ages that sings its songs, tells its thoughts, asks its questions, and searches together with courage and with love.